my board now to a fresh page. It's not too fresh, but it's manageable. They asked us this question. Said, what must be added? Now this a why question. What must be added to the expression x squared minus 8x to make it a perfect square? So what must be added to make this a perfect square? Now remember, in completing the square, what we do is that we are trying to make this a perfect square so that we can build it into a new value, like having a plus b square. Remember, this is what we're trying to aim for. So what they're asking is, please just complete this square for us. So what do you do? So let's solve this question. Let me wipe out this place. How do you solve this question? You solve it by doing this. Since we have x squared minus 8x, remember you take what? The half of b. And then what's the half of b? Is minus 8 multiplying 1 over 2, and that's minus 8 over 2, which is more or less writing as what? When you divide as minus 4. Then you square it, right? So half of b, you take the square. That'll be what? Minus 4 squared, right? Remember I told you don't touch this minus sign. Leave it that way. It is important. So what will our value now be? To now become what? Bringing this into this expression, we have what? X squared minus 8x minus 4 bracket. Okay, so that's okay. Let's arrange our working very well. That's plus bracket minus 4 square, and I can then take my expression to be equal to what? X minus 4, because I take the first value and the c value minus 4. And notice something, if I'm to expand this, I will get backwards. I will get back this value, because the question is what must be added to this. That's what's that new value you add here that will make this a perfect square, and that's what we've just found. So you can see that with the knowledge of completing the square, you can use it to make perfect squares of algebraic expressions that are not perfect. So let's just take one more example, and we'll call it a day for this particular method. Okay, so there's one here again I can find. It says find the value of t such that, let's shift this over to this way. Okay, and I would like to take this thing down more. It said find the value of t such that the given expression, what's the given expression? So let's such that the given expression, let's call it y squared plus ty. Now this is the one we're looking for, t plus 9 over 4 is a perfect square. So find it that will make this a perfect square. Please forgive my writing. I believe my talking is making the writing make sense. So okay, now we're giving this question y squared plus, we have a t and we have a y plus 9 over 4, and we're asked to find this value of t that will make this completely a perfect square. Remember, when they say perfect square, it means that they want you to be able to write this in the form of just two values with a square holding both of them. You get that? So now how do we solve for the value for this? Okay, so let's take away all these things we've written. Let me clear here. So now solving this, we have what? We are looking for the value of t that will make this a perfect square. Remember, your t was gotten by having your b. This t was actually your b value, and your b value was gotten by saying half of your b, right? Then they squared the half to get your what? To get your c. So what does it mean? It means that if I say half of my b squared, I'm actually having what? 9 over 4. Do you understand? That this was how you got your c value. So if I can just make b the sort of my formula, I will get what is meant to be this. So that's just how you solve it. So that will become what? To make b the sort of my formula, which my b is like my t. Since my b means t here, so I can just say half of my t raised to the power of 2 is equal to 9 over 4, because my t is now my b value. So how do you make t sort of formula? First take square root of both sides. Now taking square root of both sides, I have half of t is equal to, now I take the square root of this. Now I don't need to put a plus or minus here because of we are working with a known value of positive sign. Now, so I don't want to use a plus or minus here already because it's a known value. So I just take my square root without putting a plus or minus. So taking it without using a plus or minus, I have, okay, I can still use my plus or minus. It still really doesn't matter, but let's just take it without using plus or minus right now. So let's use this. That will be what? That will be, okay, let me just follow the right method using plus or minus. So plus or minus, here will be what? 9, and here will be what? 4, and that will give us what? Plus or minus 3 over 2, right? So now how do we now, so it's now 1 over 2t is equal to plus or minus 3 over 2. And what do we get for our t? We can divide 2. Since these two are aligned in the same denominator, you can just cancel them 2. So I can cancel this, and my t is equal to what? Plus or minus 3. So that's the value of my t, plus or minus 3. And you see here that if I also fix this in, y squared plus 3 plus 3y plus 9 over 4, I will get, this is now a complete square, is a perfect square. Or I can also use what? Y squared minus 3y plus 9 over 4, and this is also a perfect square. If I was to write this one down in the perfect square way to written down, it will look like this. It will look like y plus 3. That is because if you take this one, remember this was the perfect, this was written as in taking the square, and it was gotten by saying 3 over 2. So I say y plus what? 3 over 2, and I say square, and that's the value for this one. Y for this one, the value for this one will be what? Y minus 3 over 2, because this is carrying a minus sign. That right, is plus or minus square, and you can write them down. So it depends on the options they give to you. If the option they give to you is a minus 3, then please your answer will be minus 3 for your t. But if the option they give to you is a plus 3, then your answer will be plus 3 for your t. Everything just matters on what options are you giving. In this particular one, it is not an objective question, so I just give it as what? Plus or minus 3. So my answer is correct. So that's it. We'll end it here for completing the square. If you have any question, please drop it in the comment section, and we'll be heading on to the last part, which is the formula method.